Sparky Coach, Pod, Crowy and Cam back at ya. Coming into your grill. Shout out to Billy Lawrence from Lawrence Electrical giving me this mug. If you're driving, don't look at this, but it's a pretty cool little mug that says Lawrence Electrical Contracting. We will take gifts from our clients, not bribes, gifts.
If anyone wasn't sure, Crowy is now a self-proclaimed collector.
I'm a bit of a merch lord. I've got a Spark Your Interest shirt, New Age shirt, a Lawrence mug. Someone else is sending me a hat. Send me some stuff. I will wear it. It's funny. I got heaps of compliments.
He'd take anything, quite literally, because he is a collector. That's literally what he wrote me in a direct message the other day, just collector.
Well, it's funny because I own two T-shirts, like a white one and like a blue one, I guess. And I'd probably buy a shirt every sort of 12 months. And then so 40 gave me like the New Age shirt, and I don't normally wear anything with writing on it. And I was getting so many compliments. Oh, that's sick shirt. Like, yeah, thanks. It's my friend's company. So good. Anyway, this is a bit of an elaboration on last week where we talked about the true cost of being an average business owner in two parts. Just talking about how to be awesome, I reckon. Like, I think life's too short to suck at something. And if you are sucking at something, just don't continue to suck at something. I would really encourage you to go back and watch or listen to those two episodes. But today we're talking about how to have your sharpest week. So as a business owner, how to sort of, when you think about sharp, it's that age old sort of, if you tell someone to cut down a tree, they spend the first 5 hours sharpening the axe. I'm sure there's a parable or prophecy or something like that. You get
4 hours sharpening the axe and 1 hour cutting.
Exactly, that's it. Smart work versus hard work. And Cam and I were running through this morning, like, who do we sort of want to work with? Who's our ideal client? And it's someone that's motivated, of course, someone that gets into the hard work. That's sort of a prerequisite, non-negotiable. But someone that operates in the smart work too, that the focus and you focus on, like, yes, lots of stuff needs to get done, but what are those needle movers? What's the thing that's going to sharpen your business? Classic example of smart work is something to spend 1 or 2 hours on that you're going to have forever. I'm thinking like a rough-in checklist, a quoting checklist, setting up your price book or your pre-builds or your bundles, or whatever else anyone calls them. But like that kind of stuff, something that's going to take you 1 to 2 to 3 hours or half an hour or 15 minutes or 5 minutes that you're going to be able to use again and again and again and again. It might be a toolbox talk template, but you get the gist. So someone that's working hard, someone that wants to also work smart, and someone that is kind. Our ideal client 100% would go to Betty's house, Betty being a 90-year-old widow, and would change her light globe for free. Like that. I think that's just part and parcel of being a decent human. And I think you've got to back your gut on those situations too. If you ever feel to do something for someone like for free, I think you should back that, as long as it's not rooted in insecurity or like I'm lacking the money conversations. If you genuinely think that that's going to help someone and that you feel good about it, and that the electrical gods or the trade gods or whatever god you worship spoke to you, came down from the mountain, broke the tabernacle and spoke to your heart and said, hey, change this light globe for Betty for free, I think you should do that. And I think you should back that. And I think that's just part of running a business, and that's pretty cool. So how to have the sharpest week. Cam, what are you thinking?
Couple of thing that rang in my head when you opened with how to be excellent is like, just be better. And I can't remember where I heard it from. It has to be out of some movie. You just got to be better. But it is about, I think, resonating from part A, part B. Like, you don't want to be average. So how do you get better? How do you become excellent? So how to have your sharpest week. I actually truly believe, and Croy and I have talked about this a little bit lately around, is that it's probably a lot simpler than it's made out to be or people think. Probably not made out to be, but definitely how people think, or perception of I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And a lot of the time it's just doing the same thing really well often, though. So like the repetitiveness of it. So there's no magic bullet, no, hey, if you fly to the moon in 2 days and then come back and you see all the planets of the world, you're going to be aligned and all that. A lot of you've probably already done at some point in your business. A lot of these to-dos or tasks or going about the way you operate, you've probably done. You've probably moved away from it a little bit. You probably got distracted by that bright, shiny object that came into your peripheral one day as you were driving down the motorway, and then it flew across your windscreen. You're like, yeah, bam, I'm going to go after that. And you lost sight of what got you to where you were then, of doing what I'm going to say is probably the simple things really, really well. So I want to kick off with, I think the most important thing every single week to do is to close your week. Non-negotiable. And what I mean by closing the week is having an understanding of what happened the week before in a number sense, in where your job sat. So as in back costing your jobs, back costing your labor, having an understanding essentially in a nutshell, where all your time, effort, energy, money went. So what went to this job, what hours were on this job, why did Jimmy spend 10 hours on that job? It paints a picture, gives you an understanding. I believe also too, it can also give you the opportunity to be a bit rational about things, because you may see something on paper. If you lived in 1990, you would see it on a job management software program sitting on your computer.
Holding up some paper. I like to take notes during the podcast.
I do too, but I'm probably more talking from like a job notes, job software, job management point of view. You might look at it and fly off the radar. Be like, I can't believe Jimmy spent 10 hours there. Shout out
Did
to all
we
the
ever
Jimmys in the
find
world.
out why Jimmy spent 10 hours on that job? Did you ever work it out?
Do we get there? Do we know what's happening? And shout out to all the Jimmys of the world. I do feel like you get a bad rap on our pod, because I genuinely have met some amazing Jimmys. But you get a bit of an idea of, like, you might fly off the radar, but then there's context to it, because you have looked at it, analyzed it, got the full story, and be like, oh, that makes sense. So absolute paramount, knowing your numbers, having an idea what's going on, invoicing, because invoicing is the lifeblood to your business. Whether you like it or not, it creates the cash flow, it creates the money in the bank, it pays the bills. It's the flow-on effect of it all. It is the opportunity to have the conversation with people, so that you ensure that you are paid what you're worth. And the other one on that is, I sort of elaborate a little bit there, but it gives you opportunity to communicate things that need to be communicated from what happened the previous week. So whether that needs to be communicated in a positive way, in a negative way, or in just a communication way to make people aware. Because you've got to remember, you might be working on jobs where the client is not present. So the person who is paying the bills as such is not there, and they just want to be kept in the loop. So you went and did that compliance inspection on the commercial property, and you found half a dozen RCBOs that had failed and they need to be replaced. Now, the client doesn't care that they need to be done. They actually don't care that it's going to be a cost associated with it. They actually don't care how much the compliance work costs to begin with. They actually don't even care how much these RCBOs are going to cost to replace them. Like, we're talking gold standard, gold star client. They're the best. It's just a courtesy to let them know. To be like, hey, just wanted to let you know, because they've already told you to replace them. Just want to let you know, hey, this is what happened. We came across this. Just to keep them in the loop. People like to know, builds trust, builds that relationship. So I think closing the week, first and foremost for me, Crowe, is the importance, the most important thing to do each and every week.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind with closing the week, or even establishing how to have the sharpest week for me, is establishing the difference between noble and non-negotiable. So there's some good and noble tasks to get done. That's fantastic. But there's also the non-negotiable tasks. And I think this is where the hard work, smart work sort of conundrum comes into it. Yes, we know you work hard and that's great, but are you working the smartest? Are you working the sharpest? You know, if you're stuck in a roof space consistently for 40 to 50 to 60 hours, but you're invoicing, you know, the last time you invoiced was February 4, you know, like on the Sunday afternoon, probably needs to sort of tighten up. And that's not a stab. I hope everyone can hear this pod and recognize where where if you're not currently living your sharpest week, then you can start to. If you can get 1% better every day, 1% better every week, you're a lot better at the end of the year. See me just get out of that math in my head. I'm like trying to calculate it. I'm like, I'm not gonna bother doing it. I'm just gonna. You're like 400% by September. You're 400%. You know, like I think it's cool. You just get a little bit better. And there's no point continuing on working really hard if we're not sort of working really smart. So really breaking down, there's good and great tasks to get done, and then there's the non-negotiable tasks. So it's like a couple of things when you close the week, I feel is absolutely critical, and you kind of touched on it. Basically, like working out your numbers from last week. So have I sent all the invoices? All the invoices I've sent, and invoicing is such a critical part of like running a business. But hey, like let's break it down further. Yes, you got to send the invoice, but we've got to work out of the invoices that were sent, what was profitable and what wasn't, what was working and what wasn't. If I see another coaching company claim that never underprice a job again, it's the most cooked thing. Let me just say something, public service announcement. Don't download a rates calculator from anyone. It's so cooked. You don't know how to read it, and like it literally, you need to know how to read it. You need to know how to get yourself back in balance, and you need to know that what it says might not be actually what it means. Like you can change it. So really careful. People just want your email addresses, right? The second thing on that is like you can price a job correctly with your calculator, with your price book, and still handle it wrong. So the invoice doesn't just tell a story. It tells two stories. It tells a pricing story, and it tells a handling story or a process story. So the job can be priced correctly, but then we hit it with an extra apprentice. The job can be priced correctly, but we end up sort of making 8% net profit. Why? Because we didn't have a clear variation pathway, and we was thinking like, oh yeah, we'll do that. Yes, of course. And you end up this like volunteering, serving sausages at the Bunnings line, like just go, oh, how did I spend my Saturday? Volunteering. And I kind of said it before, like there's good there's good volunteering, and then there's not good volunteering, and you need to be able to articulate between the two, right? So you got to you're looking at your sort of, you're closing your invoice, like you're sending your invoices, you're working out what worked, what didn't work. You're making sure that what you've paid, you allocate. So if you try and picture it like this, right, there's job efficiency. Did the job make money or not? And some jobs are closed and some jobs roll on to next week, next month, next year. We know that. So did the job make money or not? Or if the job's ongoing, is the job on track to make money or not? On the week, if I pay 100 hours, have those 100 hours been allocated somewhere? Whether it's travel, whether it's toolbox talk, whether it's to a quoted job that's ongoing, whether it's to a closed job. Does the carpet match the drapes, right? I wish I knew that saying in French or some kind of sexy Latino word, because that'd be like, does the dulo match the dedo? You know, that'd be super cool. Anyway, and then when you're reflecting on it, it's like, did I handle those jobs properly? Like, how did of those jobs, were they priced well and handled incorrectly? Or like, you know, you're trying to work out what sort of happened. So invoicing gives you the numbers gives you the context. And over the course of a week, it'll paint a picture, not a whole picture, a picture. But over the course of 16 to 20 to 52 weeks, you're going to get the Picasso. You're going to get a finished product of some description. You're going to know exactly where you land. Over the course of 1 to 3 months, your closer months will tell you enough. But over the course of 12 months, your closer months are going to, you're like, oh, I fully get it now. I get where my money's going, what's happening. Closing the week, invoicing is absolutely huge. Like the invoices have to go out. I had a rule every Monday they were going out. What are you twice a week or once a week, or what are you twice a week?
We're doing it twice. We sort of do Tuesday and then at the end of the week.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so it's like doesn't matter as long as you go like Monday at the latest. The invoices are sent from the week before, and if they're not, that's not a stab at you, although that is a stab at you. It's a gentle stab in the leg with a blunt object, not a sharp object, a blunt object, to be like, hey, you need to get better. It's actually not good enough. I'm just picturing.
Are you saying it's a kneecapping?
Yeah, I'm picturing like pliers just like banging into your raw kneecap. right? Psycho.
You just
So,
think of Ninja Turtles and who was the dude who wore the hockey mask?
Raphael,
No. The vigilant, like
Michelangelo.
he had the hockey clubs in the back of his
Oh, yeah, I had him.
and he just like used to take people's knees out.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's what I'm thinking.
was he good or bad?
I think he was on the turtle side.
Yeah, I think he was too. Can you look up his name so we can move
Yeah.
on? Okay, so invoicing gives you context. So jobs, labor, handling, pricing, and then you're able to. I think Toolbox Talk's incredibly underrated. Casey.
Casey Jones.
Yeah. I didn't even look that up. It just came to me. Crazy. Invoicing gives you a week context. It'll also show you at your Toolbox Talk. And I think if you're having a Toolbox Talk weekly, 15 to 20 minutes, fortnightly, half an hour, monthly, hour. The benefit of having something per week will give you some sort of framework to be, hey guys, here's what's working, here's what's not working. Sometimes I find a month's too far away, and that's why we close weeks and close months, still close months, but a month is a lot can happen in a month. Like if I don't see you for a month and then I see you, lots of things can change in your business, right? It's huge. You can have staff members leave, clients come, staff members come back, you can have misquoted a job, you quoted at night time. There's so much that can happen over the course of 1 month. You can have a car, someone crashes into your work van, you lose it, you got to hire something, and it's like, what happened? Oh my gosh, can't remember. Crazy month though. So the context of a week will help have a better month. And if you ever thought about how to have a really good year financially, you have a good quarter, and how do you have a good quarter? You have a good month. How do you have a good month? You have a good week. How do you have a good week? You have a good day. So that day, although you might not have had the sharpest days up until this point, that can turn around tomorrow. So invoicing, huge, gives the numbers some context. Scheduling. Let's talk. And on this kind of thing, I will say there's times in your business where you're hacking the mainframe invoicing at nighttime, daytime, whatever. So you try and got to work out if you can't get your week into a sharp 40 hours or 30 to 50 hours, or I work 70 hours or whatever. If you can't get your week into a sharp 30 to 40 hours, you're doing too much. And when you're doing too much, ironically, the things that leave your to-do list are the most important ones. It's crazy. It's like it's almost this prioritization matrix where I get really busy and I'm doing something that's noble, that's good cause, but not non-negotiable. So I encourage you, if you can't get your non-negotiables in, then you might actually just be too busy. It might not be your fault. It might be too busy, but